Hello, Jack. It's me, Grandpa. I'm going to read a book to you today. It's a book by Virginia Lee Burton, who wrote Mike Mulligan and his Steam Shovel. But this book isn't about the little town of Popperville. This is about the big city of San Francisco, where you live with Mommy and Daddy. The name of the book is Maybelle the Cable Car. Maybelle the Cable Car by Virginia Lee Burton. Maybelle was a cable car, a San Francisco cable car. Cling, clang, clingety clang, up and down and around she went. Maybelle had a bell on top, ring 2 to go and 1 to stop. Underneath she had a grip to grab the cable under the street. She had 3 different kinds of brakes, one for the wheels, one for the track, and an emergency brake to jam in the slot so she could stop whenever she ought. Maybelle had a gripman and a conductor. The gripman pulled the levers, pushed the pedal, and rang the bell for Maybelle to stop or go. The conductor collected the fares, called out the streets, and helped with the rear wheel brakes when the hills were very steep. Fares, please. Ting, ting. Let's go. Not too fast and not too slow. Stop at the crossing. Wait for the light. Then ride the cable right up to the top. Stop and look at the view. Down we go on the other side. Look out for the curve. Hold on. Down again to the end of the line. Turn around and do it again. Fares, please. Ting, ting. Let's go. No hill too steep, no load too heavy, always cheerful and most polite. She rang her gong and sang her song from early morn till late at night. From late at night to early morn, Maybelle rested with her sisters in the big green barn. Born in San Francisco long ago, they had watched the city change and grow. The new come in, the old go out, while they remained the same. At night, while the city slept, they exchanged the news of the day, or played the game Remember When, until it was time to go out again. Remember when the city was small, when everyone knew everyone else, and nobody hurried and nobody worried? Those were the good old times. Remember when mansions crowned the hills, when our family was large and rich and famous? The pride of the city and the joy of the people. Those were the gay old times. Remember the Sunday afternoon rides out to the public parks and beaches, and the all-day outings on holidays. Those were the merry old times. They seldom remembered the terrible fire which destroyed the city overnight. Instead, they remembered how quickly the city rebuilt and grew some more. They remembered when many of the cable lines were changed into electric lines. They remembered the first horseless carriage and how the people laughed and yelled, "Get a horse!" Maybelle and her sisters worked for the city. The city had been so busy growing she had neglected her little cable cars, and they needed a new coat of paint. Maybelle was always first out in the morning and last to come in at night. She loved her city, she loved her work, and most of all, she loved the people. Maybelle's hill was very steep and very slippery when wet. Even taxicabs stayed off this hill in damp or foggy weather. But no hill too steep for Maybelle, no matter what the weather, wet or dry. She could not slip. She had her grip, and 3 kinds of brakes besides. When visitors came from the rest of the world to see the sights of the city, they admired the beautiful views, the 2 big bridges, the public buildings and parks and zoos. But what they liked most of all was to ride on a little cable car. They paid no attention to trolleys and buses, because they had plenty of those at home. This made Big Bill the bus just a bit jealous. "After all," he boasted, "I'm bigger and stronger and newer and faster and more economical." His route ran by the city hall, and he knew the city fathers. One day, as Maybelle was going along, taking her time and singing her song, Big Bill honked his horn and hooted, "Out of my way, you little old cable car! I just heard the city fathers say that cable cars must go, and that you're too old and out of date and much too slow and can't be safe." "And worst of all, you don't make money. What they want is speed and progress and economy. And that means us. Ho ho, poor little old cable car. Too bad you're not a bus." And he ground his gears and shoved his way into traffic, leaving a trail of gasoline fumes, and Maybelle sad and unhappy. "Oh me, oh my, oh dearie me, if this is true, what shall we do? Anyway, I'd rather be me, a little old cable car, than a great big old, clumsy old, stuffy old, and yes, smelly old bus," she said, as she choked on the gasoline fumes. Of course, she didn't say this out loud, because she was much too polite. The rest of the day seemed long and dreary. Maybelle's heart was sad and weary. The hills too high, the load too heavy. Her bell rang wrong. Dong, ding, ding, dong. Soon the news leaked out from City Hall what the city fathers planned to do. Some people said, "Too bad. Hate to see them go, but progress, I suppose." Others sighed and said, "We'll miss them. What a pity for our city to lose her cable cars. We'll be like any city." And one person said, "Why do we have to? We, the people, are the city. Why can't we decide?" So they called a public meeting in the public library of all the friends of the cable cars and called themselves the Citizens Committee to Save the Cable Cars. Letters and telegrams poured in from all over the world, begging the city fathers to keep the cable cars. The Citizens Committee stormed City Hall, demanding a chance for the people to vote, to answer the question, yes or no, shall the city keep her cable cars? "Pooh, pooh," said the city fathers, "just sentimental talk. Besides, you need to have a petition to put the question on the ballot. No sooner said than done. The people signed a petition and presented it to City Hall. So the fate of Maybelle and her sisters was put on the ballot as question 1. The Citizens Committee got busy with posters, parades, and publicity. Every day there were speeches, and people started taking sides. Some said yes, and some said no, but nobody said perhaps, or maybe. The no people had facts and figures, and the yes people answered with more. The no people made more noise, but the yes people worked harder. Big Bill, the bus, was sure he'd win, so late at night while the city slept, he crept out to practice climbing Maybelle's hill, up and down, stop and start. "Nothing to it," boasted Bill. "What's all this fuss about this hill?" Then came one damp and foggy night when Big Bill tried to stop halfway down. He slipped, he slid, he turned around. "Whoa, that was close," groaned Bill. "I don't think I like this hill." At last election day arrived, when the people would decide by vote whether the cable cars would stay or go. The polls opened at 7 in the morning and closed at 8 at night. No more speeches, no more talking, just one vote from each and every one, and no one could tell what the answer would be until the polls were closed and all the votes counted. The people stood around quietly and waited for the votes to be counted. Maybelle waited. Big Bill waited. The whole city waited to see what the answer would be. "9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight." "Hooray!" shouted the people. "The answer is yes! The cable cars have won 3-1. Hooray for the cable cars! Long may they live." They gathered around Maybelle and covered her with flowers. They turned her around and climbed on. "No fares, please, ting ting, let's go. This ride's on me and free for all." It reminded Maybelle of the good old times when everyone knew everyone else and life was gay and friendly. On the way back, Maybelle met Big Bill. "Congratulations," he honked. "I'm glad you won. Your hill's too steep for me and much too slippery when wet." "Thank you," rang Maybelle, "and let's be friends." "Okay," said Bill. "And by the way, I just heard the new city father say that you and your sisters each would have a new coat of paint. Also, they have named one day each year to celebrate as Cable Car Day." Home went Maybelle, clingety-clang, ringing her gong and singing her song. "Good news, ting-ting, good news," she sang. "Our day's not done, it's just begun." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah.